Okay, picking up in the middle of Book 1, Chapter 22. He who says, therefore, ergo, super esse say, to him who is defending, that's that little formula, he wants to say nothing of this, of what it means. Sed nescio quid literally means I don't know what, but it's used for something other. He says he's in scetum, he doesn't really know what it means, and when he's using this word. And ne quidem, not even is he able, poterit, to use the infinitive, utor takes the ablative, to use the authority of Virgil, who in his Georgics has scripted ita, has written thus. And I'll just pick up from yesterday where there was VC. When I googled it, it said something from the Middle Ages. But a via clarissimus, or clarissimus via a CV, so when it was a dative yesterday of Ili VC, it would be a via clarissimus, more likely. Anyway, so where were we? Primus ego. I shall be, in his going into his patria, him with the accusative, into his fatherland, with me, merely or only, while vita supersits, while life still survives. Okay, so I'll just take the Loeb translation of this poetry. I will be the first to bear, so but my life still lasts, home to my native land. Okay, that's the poetic translation. Enem. For, in hoc loco, in this place, Virgil, he seems to use, again, utor using an ablative, the verb irregularly. I think there's this Greek word here, there in this place. When he said supersit for longin quios dutius qui adsit. So this is for a more longer time. It comes from that adverb, and further or more extended from that one. And illod contra, of the same Virgil, he said something which is, aliquando something, a little bit more probable, contrarily wise to this use here. So there's a little bit of poetry here. Second, they cut the flowering herbs. He uses this a lot for the accusative plurals. And they minister fluvios, which is water from a river, I'm guessing, and faraqui, which is ground up corn and wheat, so that not, lest you should not be able to overcome blando labore. Blando is more of a flattering or pleasing or pleasant sort of labour. Okay, so that's from the Georgics, I'm guessing. Enem, for this signifies to be above the labour or excessive to labour, and not to being crushed by the labour. If you know anything about poetry, they all start off with a long vowel. If you work backwards, that's a long vowel, and another long vowel, and they put like a whacker thing in there. What's that thing called? And then you go, that one's got to be a dactyl, it's got to be a dactyl, and this, it's got to be a macron. Anyway, 14, and moreover, there's an for weather. The veteran poets, I'm guessing, or the veteran authors, they used to say super esse for pro restare, what's remaining, and lacking of completing of a thing. So something's left over and it's not completed. Querbamus, we used to inquire about this. 15, for Sallust, in his signification, in his hint or his notion or whatever, he said, it's not super esse, but supare, to overcome. The words of his in the Jugurtha hic sunt, are these. Okay, so here's a quote. He, plurum qui generally, that should be moved back there somewhere. He generally would be separate, see awesome, from the king. He separately or aside from the king would ductare, so the infinitive, so this verb there, solitist. He was accustomed to lead the army and to follow up all matters, omnis res, which with Jugurtha being tied, with the tiredness of Jugurtha, or him being restricted or constricted or tied up with major matters, things more important, he used to do things which were superverant, which were still left. So that would be this sort of thing here, which needed doing. Okay. 16. But we find in the third annals of Ennius in this verse, so this one here is going to be poetry. Then he thinks to himself, or he reminds himself, there's one labour still super esse to be done. This is what is relicum, this is what is left, and we see restare again from up there, and what remains. What? Because this is id est, it must be pronounced to be divided. So you have divided there. You've super esse has got the little division, and not as one part of this oration or the wording, it should seem, but two words. 17. Cicero, however, in his second book against Antony, of what is left, he doesn't use super esse, but to restar dicit, he says. 18. Besides this, we find super esse dictum spoken or said for pro superstitem, meaning surviving. Okay. 19. For ita, thus scriptumus, so it is written in the book of epistles of Marcus Cicerus to L. Placinus, and in the epistles of Amicinius Paulus to Cicero, with verb essayers in these words. For neither do I want to be de-essaying, lacking to the Republic, with the dative, nor do I want to survive the Republic, basically it's saying. Per quod significate, through which signifies that if the Republic is immoritor, the Republic's dying and it should perish, he didn't want, nolle se, he didn't want to live. And 20, and moreover, more manifest this is in the scenario of Plautus, where id ipsum scriptum est, where this is written in these verses, which are the primal ones, the first lines of this comedy. And now we have a little quote again. Sicut tuum vis, just as you wish your son, your one son of you, to survive of life, to survive life, safe sospitum, and very outliving you, superstitum. So therefore, cavenda must be bewared or cautioned against, that not the improprietarily sole use of the word, but even any privitas, some depraved sort of omen, that if some person who's a senior is advocating for an adolescent, that he should say, super esse say. Doesn't want to say he's surviving him. And so I'll end up with this little bit here. Vowels in Latin poetry, thus, with the Y, H is an aspiration. Semi-vowels are flamen, which you know is a blast of wind or a priest, and RS, and X and Z are double vowels. There's CS and DS, sometimes TS. And these ones are liquids. LM, N, and R. So, what do we have? Is it B, C, D, P, T, and G? If you see any of these before an R or an L, they can count as just one single consonant. So what do we have? Something like Apri, yeah, it's got P there, and R. Patris, when you're reading that in poetry, this TR business, and the rest of the things like B or Q, you see them, they're consonants. These are mutes basically. That's it for the day.